I installed the pet cam on a Tuesday at 12:47 p.m. Amazon Prime, $89.99, free same-day delivery. It wasn't paranoia, it was the dog, Max, golden retriever, severe separation anxiety, chewed through 2 door frames and 1 pair of Italian loafers. I mounted the camera in the corner of the living room, angled just enough to catch the hallway, tested the app, green light, clean feed. Then I forgot one detail. I didn't tell my wife. Wednesday, 2:18 p.m. I'm at work, 4th floor, glass office, 3rd coffee gone cold. I open the app out of boredom, living room empty, couch untouched, kitchen clean. Then the hallway feed flickers. She walks in barefoot, hair damp like she just showered, wearing the gray oversized t-shirt she never wears outside. She laughs, not loud, controlled. She looks back and reaches out of frame. A hand appears. Male, thick fingers. No hesitation. My pulse stays flat. I tell myself it's a contractor, a cousin, a harmless explanation I'll laugh about later. They don't stop in the living room, they don't stop in the kitchen. They walk straight down the hall like they've done this before. Our bedroom, the door closes, not slammed, carefully, like muscle memory. I pinch the screen and zoom in. The camera refocuses, and then he turns around. I drop the phone, because I know that face. I've shaken that hand, sat across from him, shared drinks, shared holidays. He's not a stranger, not a random man. He's my own. And in that moment, something colder than anger settles in. This wasn't an accident. This was a routine, and I already knew what I had to do next. I didn't scream, didn't punch a wall, didn't call her. I picked the phone up, wiped the screen, and sat back in my chair. 2:21 p.m. I checked the timestamp twice. Screen recording on. iCloud sync confirmed. I watched 10 full minutes. No sound glitches. No dropped frames. They didn't rush. That was the part that burned the clearest. No panic, no urgency. Shoes kicked off. Curtains half drawn. He sat on my side of the bed. My side, like it belonged to him. She didn't look guilty. She looked comfortable. At 2:34 p.m. they disappeared off camera. I didn't need visuals after that. I ended the recording, labeled the file Vet Bills March, and backed it up twice. One cloud, one encrypted drive in my desk drawer. I checked my pulse on my watch. 62 BPM, lower than usual, calm, clinical. At 3:10 p.m. she texted me, "Long day, might take a nap." I replied with a thumbs up emoji. At 5:02 p.m. I left work exactly on time. Didn't speed, didn't call anyone. Stopped for gas I didn't need. Bought dog treats. Paid cash. When I pulled into the driveway, her car was there. His wasn't. Of course it wasn't. That night she kissed me on the cheek. Asked about my day. I asked about hers. She lied easily. Too easily. And while she talked, I realized something crucial. If I confronted her now, I'd get tears, excuses, half-truths, damage control. But if I waited, if I let them get careless, they would finish the job for me. I didn't change my behavior. That was the key. Same alarm, same gym at 6 a.m., same oat milk she hated but pretended to like. Predictability is camouflage. People relax when they think they know the script. Over the next 2 weeks, I became invisible. I left the house 10 minutes earlier on Thursdays, came back 20 minutes later on Mondays. Just enough space for opportunity, just enough rope. The pet cam stayed quiet, too quiet. So I upgraded. 31240, 2 microcams, one in the hallway smoke detector, one behind the bookshelf in the bedroom, both wired, both time-stamped, both set to auto-upload the moment motion crossed the threshold. I labeled the folder, Tax Forms 2022. Nobody ever opens tax folders. Friday, 1:06 p.m., motion alert. Monday, 11:42 a.m., motion alert. Wednesday, 3:19 p.m., motion alert. Same man, same confidence, same routine. He stopped knocking by week 2. Used the spare key from under the planter, the one she insisted we keep for emergencies. They laughed more now, louder. He brought wine. Expensive. I recognized the label. A bottle I'd gifted him once. Irony has a sense of humor. I still didn't confront her. Because something else clicked. He wasn't hiding either. No hat, no caution. Parked on the street sometimes. Walked the dog once. My dog. Neighbors waved. Someone took a photo. Tagged her. Tagged him. That's when I understood the shape of the trap. Not rage, not violence. Evidence. And I wasn't done collecting. I let a month pass. 31 days. 14 recorded visits, 2 overnight stays, 1 Sunday morning brunch I watched from my office chair while stirring instant coffee. He wore my hoodie, navy, small tear near the cuff. I noted the time, 9:12 a.m. I noted what he poured, single origin beans I'd brought back from Seattle, $38 a bag. He didn't ask, he never did. I started digging sideways, quietly, no drama, no direct questions. Lunch breaks became research windows, public records first, then business filings, then a casual call to an old contact who owed me a favor. The man wasn't just someone, he was a liability, messy finances, undisclosed partnerships, one LLC tied to 2 addresses that didn't exist, a previous amicable divorce sealed with an NDA and a payout he definitely couldn't afford. I smiled when I read that part. At home, I played my role, listened, nodded, paid bills early, booked a weekend trip I knew we wouldn't take. She started acting lighter, freer. That's what people do when they think the danger has passed, when they think the lion is asleep. Thursday night, she said something careless. "You're being really understanding lately." I looked at my watch. 8:43 p.m. Stainless steel. Same one I've worn for 10 years. I told her I was just tired. She kissed my forehead and went to bed early. I stayed up, copied files, organized timelines, labeled screenshots. Because the next step wasn't confrontation. The next step was letting them cross a line they couldn't walk back from. The line came faster than I expected. People get bold when you give them silence. Tuesday, 10:11 a.m., motion alert. Not the bedroom this time. The office. My office. Desk drawers open, printer tray pulled out. He rifled through folders like he owned the place. She stood watch by the door, smiling, chewing gum. That's when it stopped being an affair. That's when it became theft. I didn't interrupt. I watched him photograph documents, contracts, bank statements, client lists, sensitive enough to be valuable, sensitive enough to be illegal in the wrong hands. At 10:19 a.m., he plugged a USB drive into my laptop, the one synced to my work cloud. I noted the brand, SanDisk, 64GD, red casing, sloppy. People always get sloppy. At 10:27 a.m., they left. He took nothing physical, just data. The kind you can't pretend was an accident. I leaned back in my chair and finally let myself exhale. Not relief. Alignment. The pieces clicked together like gears. That afternoon, I called IT, calm voice, hypothetical question, then legal, then HR, still calm. I didn't accuse. I asked about protocol, about breaches, about unauthorized access from private residences. They used the word serious. I used the word documented. At 6 p.m., she asked why I seemed cheerful. I told her work was stabilizing. She laughed. That sound again, the one that used to mean home. That night, I backed everything up one last time. Because tomorrow, I was going to lose everything on purpose. Wednesday morning, I walked into the office like a man already fired. Loose tie, no rush. 9:03 a.m. I sent one email, short, clean, to compliance, legal, and my direct supervisor. Subject line, potential data breach, personal residence. I attached nothing, just said I'd explain in person. Then I waited. By 10:17 a.m., I was in a glass room with 3 people and a pot of untouched coffee. I didn't accuse my wife. I didn't name him. I showed timestamps, IP logs, camera stills, a stranger accessing protected material from my home network, USB insertion logs, clear as math. Someone asked if I'd authorized it. I shook my head. Once, slowly. That was enough. At 11:02 a.m., I was placed on temporary leave pending investigation. Badge taken, laptop taken. For procedure, they said. I thanked them, shook hands, walked out with nothing but my phone and my keys. From the outside, it looked like I'd just lost my career. That was the illusion, the sacrifice piece. I didn't go home. I sat in my car across the street and waited. 12:26 p.m. Her car pulled in. 12:31 p.m. His followed. Bold again. Confident again. I watched them walk inside like victors. I watched the app. He paced. She cried. He raised his voice. They were scrambling now. Damage control mode. At 1:04 p.m. he made his mistake. He logged into his email on my old tablet, the one I forgot to reset. Same Wi-Fi, same network, same trace. The trap snapped shut so quietly they didn't even hear it. I smiled, because now it wasn't about marriage. It was about crimes. By Thursday morning, the tone changed. Calls I didn't answer, texts with too many words. She oscillated between panic and affection like a broken metronome. "We need to talk. I'm worried about you. Please come home." I muted the thread. Silence sharpens consequences. At 9:40 a.m., legal called me back. Different voice, higher up. They didn't ask questions anymore. They explained next steps: external audit, law enforcement referral, mandatory disclosure to affected clients. Words like felony floated casually across the line. I wrote them down anyway. Habit. At 11:12 a.m., he texted me. First time ever. No greeting, just pressure. "There's been a misunderstanding." I let it sit. At 11:47 a.m., he sent another. "We should handle this privately." That one made me laugh. Quietly, alone in my car. People always want privacy after they burn yours down. At 2:30 p.m., 2 unmarked cars parked outside my house. I watched from the app. He froze when the doorbell rang. She started crying immediately. I'd seen that response before. He tried to talk. Too much. Too fast. Hands everywhere. Classic. The officers stayed calm, cold, professional. They asked about devices, about storage, about access. He denied. They didn't argue. They already knew. When they walked him out, neighbors watched. Phones out, curtains twitching. Reputation doesn't collapse loudly. It dissolves in real time. She looked at the camera once, straight into the lens. That's when she realized I'd never been gone. The house felt smaller after that. Not physically, morally. Thursday night she finally understood the script had flipped. No shouting, no accusations, just quiet bargaining. She sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug she didn't drink from. Asked if we could reset, asked if I'd made my point. I checked the time, 8:06 p.m. Same calm, same watch, same answer. No. He was charged Friday morning, 2 counts, unauthorized access, data theft, the kind that doesn't fade with apologies. His firm put him on indefinite leave before lunch. Their website scrubbed his bio by 3 p.m. LinkedIn went dark by evening. Digital erasure is fast when liability enters the room. At 4:12 p.m. she received a call from his ex-wife, the one with the NDA, the one who'd been waiting. I didn't listen. I didn't need to. Her face told the story. Pale, tight, real fear, not the performative kind. I packed a bag that night. Not in anger, in order. Documents first, drive second, clothes last. She followed me from room to room like gravity had changed direction, asked what she could do to fix it. I stopped at the door, looked at her, calm. "You already did," I said. When I left, the house cameras stayed on. Because the ending wasn't private, it was public. Monday morning the filings hit. Divorce. At fault. Digital evidence attached. Time-stamped, categorized, impossible to spin. Her attorney called mine before noon, nervous, overly polite, asked if there was room for discretion. I told him discretion had been offered already. He just hadn't recognized it at the time. By Wednesday, the numbers were final. House equity split, retirement untouched, prenup clause, section 7.3, the one she signed without reading. She lost the car, the one she loved, 2023 Pearl White Lexus RX. I kept the dog. Judge didn't hesitate. "Primary caregiver," she said, glancing at the logs. Funny how truth shows up in metadata. His situation deteriorated faster. Devices seized, accounts frozen, clients notified. One of them recognized their stolen files in a pitch deck he'd sent. That added a charge. Then another. His lawyer stopped responding to emails after 1 a.m. I imagine the retainer evaporated around then. She tried once more. Showed up unannounced, mascara streaked, voice shaking, said she'd made a mistake. I didn't argue. I just handed her a printed timeline. Dates, times, screenshots. She stopped on page 4, couldn't keep reading. The neighbors stopped waving, and for the first time in months, I slept through the night. One part left. 6 months later, my life is quiet in the best way. New apartment, top floor, south-facing windows, rent paid 6 months ahead, same job, cleared completely. Compliance sent a written apology and a bonus for resilience. I deposited the check and forgot about it. Money is loud only when you need it. He took a plea. No trial, No speeches, just a reduced sentence and a permanent record that follows him into every background check for the rest of his life. His name doesn't surface online anymore unless you add the word charges. That's how the internet remembers you when you make the wrong bet. She moved back with her sister. Different city, different last name soon maybe. I don't track it. I don't need to. The cameras are gone now. The silence doesn't require proof. Max sleeps at the foot of my bed every night. No anxiety, no chewing. Animals know when danger has passed. Sometimes I think about that first moment, the phone slipping from my hand, the shock, the urge to explode. I'm glad I didn't, because rage is temporary, patience is permanent, and the people who think they're winning while you're quiet, they're already done.